Hello gaming peeps, it's Neil from Gamerevolution. Here again with another retro top 10. This time I'll be discussing N64 or Nintendo 64, commonly known as the N64 though. So we'll start straight off with my number 10. Number 10 is going to be Perfect Dark. We hadn't seen a game of this structure before. Graphically it was immense, sound was great, the ability to play was brilliant, everything from the controls down to the... I'm not going to spoil the story, that's for you to find out. I'm not going to really deal with the stories, I'll give you brief sometimes, but it's for you to find out, because I don't want to spoil anything. But the gameplay of it's superb, there's loads of enemies around. And it had a lot of abilities that hadn't been seen before in games. It's a really superb game, and had to be in my top 10. Most people would probably think, well, I should be higher up, but no, I mean, it's one of the first games to be released on the Xbox 360, and probably a lot of people still play it. I loved it, I have to say, on the 360, but it was, you know, it was great on the N64. The N64 was a superb console anyway. If you can pick one up and get some of the games and not pay too much for them, you'll enjoy them even today. Some of them are quite rare, and some in my top 10 are really rare to find. But yeah, check that one out, Perfect Dark, absolutely brilliant. Now, this will be my number 9. I'm not a fan of this, but it's Pokemon Stadium. Pokemon to me, it's more of a sort of a, I don't want to say nerdy thing, but it's more of a kids thing I thought would fade off, and it has a little bit. It had its kind of day a few years ago, but the game's really good. Having your creature fight another creature, came in a nice big box. They did do a Pokemon Stadium 2 as well, which was equally as good really. It's just a brilliant, I mean, forgetting the content of it being Pokemon, they're monsters with loads of different abilities and you get to fight with them. How can you not like that? The way it done the graphics as well was superb. So it had to be a game to enter my top 10, even though it would probably normally not be, because of the content it deal with. But I have watched Pokemon every now and then, and yeah, that's why the game appealed to me. A friend twisted my arm into playing it, to be honest. Otherwise I might not have looked at it, but yeah, it was brilliant. They tried some other things where you're photographing Pokemon later on that I didn't like, but big creatures battling each other and you can update them and make their abilities better. Gotta be good. Pokemon's always one. I mean, you get it on the DS today and Pokemon comes out and everybody snaps it up because it's such a huge franchise seller. So it had to be there, and it just edged out Perfect Dark because of the ability with the monsters, which moves me nicely on to a game that I absolutely love, and that is Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Absolutely brilliant game. Love it. You can't beat it really. It's Star Wars, everybody knows. You're sort of a guy who's gone rogue, as it were, so off on your own fighting the Empire. It's the way it does it and the graphics that it produces. We haven't seen anything like that before from Star Wars games. They've always been a bit okay, not great all the time. There's been some floppy Star Wars games, but this one was really good. There's been some great ones like Dark Forces on the PC, and you know, some in my other top 10 in the SNES, you know, the Super Star Wars series. Some have been brilliant, but some have been real stinkers. Rebel Assault on Mega Drive, Mega CD springs to mind. Very, very poor game, but nice with a few cutscenes. So that's the reason that's my in my top 10 as a number 8, just because of the content. Is Star Wars. I love Star Wars. You can't fail not to, you know. Big ships, loads of creatures, aliens, fighting to save the universe. It draws you in whether you like it or not. Which leads me nicely on to my number 7, and that is Mario Party. Mario Party's just got better and better. I love Mario Party ever since I've ever done one. It's like a huge Monopoly board with millions of mini games that you get to play. Trying to get, I mean, the N64 was a brilliant one. When I do my GameCube, it will be in the GameCube top 10 without a shadow of a doubt. Collecting stars. I had so much fun with family members with this. It's the ultimate party game for me. You can have a laugh a minute, the ability to go around the board, try and wipe over people's scores out, but playing mini games that are so varied and fun along the way. It just makes the whole game brilliant. And you can play a short game, a medium game, or a really long game. And to be honest with you, we always opted for the long game because the short one just wasn't enough. And nor was the medium one. We wanted the long game because we wanted to play it for a few hours, and it is absolutely brilliant. So that's my my number 7. Moving on to number 6, and this is Mario 64, or Super Mario 64 as a lot of people know it. What can I say about this? Mario had always been 2D up to now. They made it 3D and it was jaw dropping. A lot of people would probably put this at number 1 or 2 slot, to be honest. And it probably deserves it, but this is, say, it's my top 10. So it's what I've enjoyed and not necessarily the commercial structure of the top 10. And I love this Super Mario game. It's brilliant. Playing the most clumsiest plumber in the universe, who anybody decides to protect seems to get kidnapped. There was no way he'd be protecting any sort of prime minister or president, put it that way, because everybody he tends to look after that gets kidnapped. Okay, he gets them back again, so I suppose his end goal's always there, but he always lose them in the first place. And he never quite hooks up with the princess, which is a shame for him. And of course his Dippy brother's always not far behind. And so, yeah, it's a brilliant game. The levels are structured brilliantly. You know Mario, but it's the way he did it in 3D. It was such a nice transition to 3D. People were like scared, oh, this is going to be really bad in 3D. It's always been 2D, that's Mario. It's just the same with Sonic, you know, but he made a lovely transition to 3D. And it was just superb. You have to play it. If you've not before, you have to try it out. If you've not heard of Mario, then try some of the early ones first, and then look at the transition to the 3D version. It'll blow you away. So moving swiftly on to my number 5. Yes, halfway through, and this is gonna be Super Mario Kart 64. Or Mario Kart 64, as a lot of people know. We know Mario Kart on the SNES, superb. DS, superb. N64, superb. It's superb on whatever it goes on. It is a winning franchise. They've just released number 8 out, and it's selling out everywhere. Again, it's brilliant. They always come up with something new to hold your attention. Not much you can say about the plots and stories. It is race to win, but it's the way it's done. You know, you're racing around, firing things at each other. It's absolutely superb game to play. I enjoy it. All family members enjoy it. Most people would see some greatness in this. If you don't like Mario Kart, you'll be the first person I've ever heard to not like it, because it is a superb game. Just really fun. The graphics are superb, and you know, the abilities are great, and it's just, you know, you know, you're there, you're number first place, you think, oh, I've got this wrapped up, no problem. Then you get leader bombed or knocked off, and you're back to third again. And it's really good. It can chop and change who's winning the race. It's not a racing game where you'd have someone out in front and they'll stop out in front the whole race, because it doesn't work that way. Something always happens that knocks you back a bit. So yeah, that's definitely one to check out. So that's my number 5. Moving swiftly on to number 4. This is going to be Super Smash Brothers. What can you go wrong here? All the great Nintendo characters into one package, beating the living hell out of each other. Without blood, I might add. This is, you know, still Nintendo characters. There's no Mortal Kombat-esque moves. Interesting if there would be. That would be interesting. But no, it's not. It's you fight on a sort of a structured level. You can have quite a few players to fight with, and it's just all out brawl. And it's really funny. I say brawl, and that was the next one they brought out, was the Super Smash Brothers Brawl. And this year they're bringing out another Super Smash Brothers 2014. So yeah, we'll look out for that one. See how much is improved. But it's always a great game. You know, when you got all the Nintendo characters, lovely cuddly characters, and some not so cuddly, into a fighting game where they can beat the living hell out of each other, you're on to a winner straight away. I love it. The graphics are great. The abilities you've got, as each character's got something so different. It's just an amazing game, and that's why it had to be in my top 10 without a shadow of a doubt. And it had to be that 4th slot. Only edged out by my last 3, and starting with number 3. These are the top 3. I know you've been waiting for it. So number 3 is a game that's going to be extremely hard to get hold of if you want to check it out. But it is Conker's Bad Fur Day. A squirrel with the ability to be funny and take the mick or piss, if you like, out of so many different franchises in such a fun and unique way. It's going to be a good game. Conkers is so funny, he's hilarious. This would go into the realms of, for funniness, a Duke Nukem or a Leisure Suit Larry. He's basically takes a mick out of Star Wars, Duke Nukem, all sorts of things. In a basic shooting type venture game, really. But it's just so funny. There's not much I can say about the story and the level design, because they are superb. They are totally random. It's like about as random as Family Guy, to be honest. It's hilarious, but it's so funny. I mean, I've got people who don't play games at all, but they'll play this one, and they'll pick this one and give it a go, because they'll just be crying with laughter. It's so funny and so witty. With the game's kind of pals into secondary with the nature of the comedy in it, but it is a superb game to play, and that's why it is my number 3. You have to check it out, but just be warned, it's really difficult to get hold of. So be prepared to spend some money to find it. Which leads me on to my number 2. There's no way in hell this will probably feature as number 2 on anybody's list anywhere, apart from mine, because it's a game that you either love or hate. It's WWF No Mercy. As far as wrestling games, this is always the one people talk about and still talk about as being one of the ultimate wrestling games they've ever produced. You've got it up there with Here Comes the Pain. They're usually the two that people mention. Why don't they copy that game? It was so good back then. They keep messing up these wrestling games, and it's only this year really when 2K took over. It's really a THQ game that they've adapted slightly. That people actually love the WrestleMania mode, but as far as the games itself, No Mercy was always top spot for wrestlers and wrestler fans. It's a superb game, from the graphics, the moves, the going through the whole game. And we'd seen others before. WWF WrestleMania 2000 was a good little sort of glimpse into what was coming, and that was superb. And before it, WCW games, we're getting there, we're getting superb though, we're getting better and better. But No Mercy really knocked that nail on the head. It was absolutely superb. Tons of characters, tons of moves, tons of fun. Brilliant game. Great sounds. It's still one of my favourite wrestling games, and I still look back on it with fondness. I can pick it up to game and play it and still enjoy it as much as I did when I first bought it. Brilliant game, and that's why it had to be my number 2. But it leads me on to my number 1. Yeah, it's number 1. You've probably realised that I haven't mentioned probably the best N64 game in most people's top 10. It's going to be number 1 slot, and that is GoldenEye 007. Yes, Mr. Bond. What to say about it? It follows the movie quite closely. It's the way it does it. It is so good and so enthralling. The sounds are brilliant on there with the James Bond authentic themes, and the different guns and weaponry. It's superb from start to finish, from everything from graphics to sound to the story. We've seen the movie, so we kind of know the story. Everything, control system, structure of the levels, it is just probably one of the best. They did relaunch, kind of, with a sort of 007 sort of reloaded and on the 360 and stuff like that. Tried to do it, but never had what GoldenEye had. GoldenEye was superb. The original and the best. They should just update it, make better graphics, make it online, and it'll be absolutely superb. Everybody will play it. They messed it up a little bit. They could have got there, but I don't think they were down to making the franchise time or money to do it. But it will always be my number 1 N64 game. It's superb. I think you'll agree. It's probably at least in most people's top 10. Most top 5, and that's why it's my number 1. I loved it from the moment I picked it up. I actually had an N64 GoldenEye console as well, which it came with. But after I sold that years later, I got the N64 back again. I made sure I got that game because it's superb. You can sit there and play it for hours. It's a brilliant all the way through. Definitely check it out. And that is my N64 top 10. There'll be more coming away. So I've done SNES, PS1, PS2, Xbox original, 3DO so far. Look out for more. I'll be doing each console one. And you have a nice time, happy gaming, and check out some of those top 10. If you don't know some of the games, you think, that sounds interesting, have a look out for it, on the usual places, your eBays and your car boots, and pick it up, and I think you'll really enjoy them. Until my next videos, check out the rest of them. Happy gaming!